Welcome back to my channel. My name is Deborah and my channel is dedicated to helping teachers like you learn transformative ways on how to boost your career. So if you are a teacher and you fit into this category, then you are definitely in the right place. Today's video is all about learning how to set up your teacher reflection journal and all the benefits that go along with using such a great tool to help guide you in your journey as a teacher. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So in my video on setting up a 2020 teacher vision, I briefly mentioned the importance of having a teacher reflection journal. So I thought it would be a great idea to share with you some very helpful tips that will help you get this good habit started, and so you can start developing effective ways on how to map out your teaching career. So before we dive into these very helpful tips, I'm going to briefly mention what a teacher reflection journal actually is. So this journal is a way for you to input your daily updates about your teaching experience. It's a way for you to record your teaching achievements or the failures that you've had within the classroom. And it's also a way to put your personal thoughts about teaching or important notes or questions that you may have about the profession that you're in, so that you can start developing yourself on your own terms. And so by knowing exactly what this tool is meant for, you can use the tips that I'm about to tell you in ways that benefit you the most in your environment. So the first tip for setting up your teacher reflection journal would be for you to establish what your preference is. So I know we don't talk about this a lot, but teachers everywhere have their own personal preference on what they like to use to help them be more successful in their profession. So in this situation, it all boils down to whether you are more of an analog person or you're more tech-oriented, meaning you have to decide for yourself whether a physical journal best suits your needs or an online version helps you stay more on track with what you're doing. But once you've established what you want to use, you are best able to then decide what to put inside it. And this does not have to be a costly, venture. You don't have to go out and spend money on this. As starting out for the first time on your teacher reflection journal, it's best to just start with a plain notebook or a plain journal so that you can actually manipulate it to set up the questions or templates that you have the way that you want to set them up. And there are also online journals or apps that you can use, which are also free, that you can download on your computer or your phone to use in keeping up with your teacher reflection journal. So some of these options are, Microsoft Word or Excel, and also Google Docs or their Sheets as well. And a great app is a Day One journal app you can find in the App Store and on the Apple site or in the Google Play Store. And you can also find different versions of amazing free notebook apps that you can download and pretty much set up the way that you want to, so that you can easily access your reflection information. So it really just depends on what you want, but there are free options so that you don't have to spend money on this wonderful tool that you can start developing so that you can improve on your teaching profession. Once you've decided on the type of journal you'd like to use, which by the way, I will list down below the different options I gave in tip 1 in my description box, it's time for you to set up a template. And the second tip for this will be to stick to the rule of 3. So when setting up a teacher reflection journal, it's very easy to get overboard and feel very overwhelmed, which then will not amount to anything and definitely destroys the entire purpose of having the reflection journal in the first place. So my advice to you would be to select 3 specific categories that you'd like to focus on. And this all boils down to always having or setting up a teacher vision for yourself each academic year. Because once you have a vision that you're focusing on, you have certain goals that you're trying to meet, and your reflections are going to be focused solely on achieving those goals so that you don't go overboard or feel overwhelmed with keeping up with this reflection journal. But if you are a new teacher and you still aren't sure of what type of goals you need to set, or if you're a teacher already in the classroom and you're still not sure of what kind of goals that you need to set, there are 3 important categories that you can start off with that will help you get comfortable in using a reflection journal within your classroom and for your career. So these 3 categories are teaching skills, which basically talk about or define your instructional methods or the types of communication you use within your classroom. Your classroom strategy, which is basically your classroom management style, what tools you use for classroom management and the procedures that you have. And your student improvement, that's your student growth. So basically your student academic and personal growth within your classroom, and also how they react towards your teaching methods and the information that you give. So using your reflection journal to focus on these 3 specific categories that I mentioned is a great way to start off using your reflection journal, and will help you get comfortable in the process so that you can plan out other different categories that you'd like to focus on for the upcoming years. Now it's time for the 3rd tip. Ask the right questions. Once you've selected the 3 specific categories that you want to focus on in your journal, you can then create a template that will help you to store the type of information that you need. So a simple way to start your template off would be to select 3 to 4 different questions that are specific to your categories and will align your thinking and your answers to the goals that you actually set for yourself to achieve. So some good examples of these questions could be, what really worked today? Or who really needed my attention and why? Or better yet, what could be improved to be more effective? Basically, you are asking yourself, really select questions for each category that will help you to identify your growth and your limitations so that you can better improve. And this also helps you to identify immediate problems so that you can figure out good solutions for them that are more effective than other times where you are not sure what to do and you end up putting things together that may not necessarily help your students. Now it's time to set up a schedule and stick to it. You have selected the journal you want to use, you have the categories you want to focus on, and you've created the template that you're going to use to store your information. It's time to set up the most important part about your reflection journal, your schedule and sticking to it. In my personal experience, it is best to set up a schedule where you can record your updates either daily or at the end of your work week. This way, your mind is still fresh and you can easily recall important information that you would like to note down or use in answering the questions in your reflection journal. I will highly advise against planning on updating your information monthly or even longer than that, because you are bound to forget the information that you want to put in, and you're bound to miss out on very important details that you need in improving your career or professional life. So make sure that you decide whether you want to update yourself daily or weekly so that you can keep up the pace and stay on track with a schedule so that you are better able to keep track with what you're doing, and it's easy for you to hold on to this really amazing tool to help you guide your teaching journey. You have a schedule, but don't stop there. Evaluate. It is super important to evaluate your reflections because they help motivate progress. If you just kept a record of information on your teaching and didn't make any plans with it, you're basically just wasting your time because no significant progress will ever be made with that type of thinking. And so even though it's good to get, opinions about your effectiveness in the classroom from other people, It's super helpful for you to learn how to evaluate yourself because it's a useful tool that you can build as a teacher. When you are stronger in identifying whether a mishap or progress is about to happen or is made, you are better able to evaluate your students' needs and their progress. And this helps you to identify what they need faster so that you can help them in good time and they can be where they need to be. So learn to evaluate your reflection journal as hard as you would evaluate any of your students' work so that you can be truthful with yourself and in that process learn what you need to do to be better at your teaching skills and within your profession. Now, I know this might sound like a lot of work, but so is setting up any type of good habit that you want to keep. And having a teacher reflection journal is really only to your benefit because it helps you become a more effective teacher faster than you just sitting around and waiting till the end of the academic year just to get a fraction of the information that you actually need. So yes, setting it up is the hardest part, but once you've gotten down your goals and your schedule, you will be grateful that you took the time out to set this up because you will see the changes that it initiates come very quickly and very effectively. I hope this video has helped you to understand how easy it is to set up a teacher reflection journal and how great of a tool it is to have within your teaching career. If you've enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so that you can continue to get great content specifically curated to help you within your teaching profession. Also, check out these two videos on the side so that you can get more information about the teacher life and what to expect from it. As always, have fun teaching and I will see you next time.